Hi everyone, I'd like to show you my revised MPP A New Hope V1. This is a Roman Props MPP which I purchased a couple of years ago off someone else who'd already converted it to A New Hope V1. And the person I bought it on had done quite a good job for the most part, but it wasn't 100% accurate. So I did change the shroud to Wanawanga and the grips and other things like that. But something I noticed later on through watching some of Iron Destiny Props' videos was he mentions that the clamp for A New Hope is different to ESB. This is ESB right here. That's A New Hope. And one of the differences is on the ESB prop, if you look at the sidebars of the clamp, not only are they obviously black and the other ones are silver, it's the shape of the sidebars are almost like from the front like that, they're almost kind of triangular. And then obviously from the sides, they're a more trapezoid shape. And that's accurate for ESB, and Roman sells them like this. But for A New Hope, Roman sells the sidebars in the exact shape, same shape as those ones. So they're trapezoid and they're kind of thicker at the bottom. And these are the Roman sidebars that I've had Martin remove for me. So they've been milled from the side, so they're straight, but they used to be trapezoid. And if you see here, you see that it's sort of wider from one end than the other. And that causes the clamp to kind of squish towards each other and look more like triangular almost, like the ESB. So it brings them closer together, which in turn means that the bubble strip goes underneath the clamp rails like that. Again, this is accurate for ESB, but not so for A New Hope. And that's how mine looked before I sent it to Martin. It looked the same as this. So bubble strip was under the rails, clamp bars were tight, close to each other, and it had the wrong sidebars. So I sent it to him. I bought some new sidebars from JQ Sabers, which are the more accurate shape. And I asked him to replace it for me because you have to take the whole thing apart and redo the bent nail. So this is not an easy mod. It's quite tricky to do. Yeah, so he's taken it off. He put the new nail on, bent it in the right location just to get the right amount of tension in. He's reattached the lever and he's made it so he's obviously replaced the sidebars. So now you can see with the new sidebars, they're absolutely straight and parallel. And that's how they should be for A New Hope. Compared to the Romans again, it looks different. And so now everything is parallel and straight. And what that means is that the bubble strip now sits between the clamp rails as opposed to underneath them, like in the ESB. And it's also allowed me to, underneath it, pop a sloth furnace Exactra card, which we're not sure if that's accurate or not. We know it's accurate for ESB. We're not sure about A New Hope. There's not been a confirmation. But according to pretty reliable sources, it's very likely because something must have been holding that bubble strip up. So it sits like that. So I bought this from Sloth Furnace, sent everything to Martin, asked him to redo it for me. So he's done a new nail, bent it, attached the lever, switched the sidebars to the more accurate ones, cut the Sloth Furnace to size, popped the same bubble strip on top, and then reposition the clamp so it sits between, and now it looks absolutely perfect. So this is the most accurate A New Hope V1 that I've seen in a long time. A lot of people really don't bother with this mod because it's just so difficult to pull off with the bent nail and everything. So it looks great. So Martin, if you're watching, thank you so much, mate. I cannot thank you enough. This is really, really beautiful work. Exactly what I wanted. For those of you who don't know, Martin does a lot of commissions. He's based in the UK. I will link his Facebook page down below. You can contact him on Facebook via Messenger. He does painting, weathering, just mods like that, you know. He's actually done this in the past as well. This shroud was from Wanawanga, and he's done the wrinkle paint. I did the scratching and weathering later on to kind of match reference photos, but he did the wrinkle paint. I mean, look at that. It's absolutely stunning. So, yeah. So, yeah, very happy with it now. It's much more accurate looking. Did a little bit of weathering there on the clamp as well, just to match the shroud. These are from Wanawanga, the thumb screw, the D-ring. What else? The grips are from Wanawanga. I've cut those according to the latest blueprint from Wanawanga from 2021. So you'll notice that they're all over the place. They're meant to be like that because they shouldn't be like, they're unequal lengths, but they're also, the distance between them isn't right either. So some of them will stick kind of down here, will extend beyond the end cap. Some of them will be end right there. And the spacing between them is all, but I used a grip guide for this. I didn't eyeball it or anything. So I cut them to length according to the blueprint, and I used the grip guide to attach them. So even though they look a little bit silly, they're actually more accurate. So you can see that one's really long. That one's a bit shorter. That one's a bit shorter. Most of them end here. Some of them end further down. It's kind of crazy with A New Hope, but that's how it was done. Yeah, I haven't made any other changes to it otherwise. It was mainly the clamp. Just compare that very quickly to the ESB clamp. So, totally different story here. Here we've got black sidebars. They've got the trapezoid shape. They've got that triangular profile that I was talking about earlier. And then the rails are not quite parallel. They sort of taper at the top towards each other. Bubble strip sits nicely between the rails there. Underneath that is a blue PCB from Soft Furnace, and this one is confirmed to be blue. There are reference photos. And the lever, there's no nail or lever or anything, that's missing altogether. It's just held by that bit, the other side of that screw. And it's tight, it's much tighter than the A New Hope one. Obviously the grips are they're completely different. I think they're all the same length, other than that one might be a little bit longer down here. And they're cut straight, they're not angled. Yeah, colored wires, a different shroud altogether. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Martin, thank you so much. Really, really happy with your work. For anyone else, if you have questions or comments, feel free to get in touch. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one.